We gotta rush them. We gotta kick them. What we gotta do is get in and get the. All right, let's go. Come on now. Hey, we'll put the bass on.
Boom, bum, ba-da-da-da-da, bum, bum, ba, ba-da-da-da-da, dum, doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Fantastic win for the New York Football Giants. Thank God. Finally getting the win. And as I said, I made a video earlier discussing what my expectations for tonight were. And certainly, I didn't expect the level of success. I expected a tight game that we could win if we didn't make mistakes. But this was a flat out win. It helps to have 10 of the Eagle defensive guys that have gone away to other teams. They're parceled out. And also to have a few opportunistic injuries. But we have it on our side with Neighbors as well, because if Neighbors was there, it might have been a dagger through the heart, and it might have been over in the first half. Who knows? Anyway, we want Malik, and shout out to Malik that he recovers from his injury quickly, faster than what anybody expects. What we can expect going forward is that this defense is going to grow together and get things done. Would have loved to seen Shane Bowen use a spying linebacker on Jalen Hurts. They showed the ticker, and Jalen Hurts had up to, sometimes 4 seconds to assess the field. Jackson Dart only had half of that amount of time. You know, sometimes you can bring a late blitz with a safety or whatever. And I understand that with the dynamic people that are out there on the field, you got Goddard, you got Brown. Devonta Smith is a beast. He's my nightmare. He's beat the Giants in the last few, minutes of the game a couple of times already, or came close to doing it. So I pictured that happening when it was still only a 10-point game and 12 minutes on the clock, or 14 minutes on the clock in the fourth quarter. But the opportunistic interception by Cordell Flott really changed things. I'd like to have a conversation with Coach Dabols and Coach Kafka on when Jackson Dart got hurt. Why in the flying fuck are you having him run with the football and he was just in the fucking blue tent? 2 running plays back to back and he just got back on the field. You just couldn't have just handed the ball off? I think that the him yelling and saying to this guy to the side of his mouth, first down, didn't require a 15-yarder, but maybe this is the space we're in. But I want it to be properly delved out when it's necessary, and I just didn't feel like it was necessary. The guy says first down. We found that out at the end of the game when they got with the people on the sideline. Great to see the Giants win a football game in a decisive manner. It was also bothersome to me to see a great quarterback like Russell Wilson come out, and I believe that ball was tipped. They never said it was tipped, but to ground the ball out. If that ball wasn't tipped and you just came out and threw a grounder and there was an open man there, maybe there's something that's lost either in your focus or in your physicalness or in your will or all the above that is just not there for you, and it's time to go ahead and cash the chips in. And that may be what it is, You're supposed to have 2 Super Bowl rings. Unfortunately, you only have 1 because of the stupid-ass play where you didn't hand off the ball to Marshawn Lynch. But, my hat's off to you, to your career. My hat's off to you to helping this young kid to become a good quarterback and to see what's going on around him and be able to assess it quickly. And I know that you've been a part of that tutelage for Jackson Dart, and I appreciate you, brother, very much. But it's interesting how we'll work the depth chart from now on, because it might be in a space, and my brother was saying this to me tonight. Shout out to my brother Kamas. We finally got a win. Shout out to all my Giant people. Shout out to my brother Cal calling up and saying some good shit. And hey, big shout out to a very good and close friend of mine, my friend, Mr. Joseph. Cry, Eagles, cry. We'll see you in 2 weeks, brother. And I pray that there's a way for us to beat you again, because we're used to being swept by you. You guys came in with maybe a lowered expectation of who we were after last week's 5 turnover game against a team we should have just road graded. But this is the craziness of the NFL. What can I say? But anyway, just wanted to check in with all my people and say it was fantastically beautiful to finally see a New York Football Giant win, and especially against a division opponent. And would love to finish out the last game of the season the same way. Let's talk about dreams. But before we do that, and believe it or not, this is a Bears shot glass, but here it is. Salute to the New York Football Giants getting the win. Ah, sweet. That's sweet. Back in the day, I could remember being with my oldest son. He was about, I want to say he was 8 years old, because his younger brother, he was in the oven, but he hadn't been born yet. And we're on Jamaica Avenue in Queens, New York. And I'm hanging out. I had to go to the store. And I was going to pick up some food. I think I went to go get some pizza or something. And the Giants game was on. And I got my Giants gear on. My son's got Giants gear on. And I got the radio on in the car. And the Giants scored a touchdown. And they used to say that whenever the Giants would score a touchdown, you were listening to it on the radio, he would say, "Give that man a Nat Sherman cigar." Well, give Cam and Jackson Dart and the rest of the New York Giants a Nat Sherman cigar, baby. New York Giant win. Beautiful, fantastic, needed it, loved it. And what could be a dream going forward? All of a sudden, things start to come together, and the strongest schedule, the toughest schedule, the New York Giants start winning football games and do something that from a percentage basis and from a data and analytics basis is never done. And that is to lose 4 games and then go on a tear where you win your next 8 games, right? Now you're 10-4 with only 3 games left, and maybe a heads up against the Eagles in a wild card, and then be the road dogs you were in 2007 or in 2010 and go on the road, but go against the most unexpected opponent in the Super Bowl. Now, this is a dream. I know it's a dream fantasy scenario. Very unlikely to happen. Just like this game tonight for everybody that picked the Eagles, right? But with that in mind, how do you like the scenario of the New York Football Giants with Jackson Dart going up against their old quarterback, Indiana Jones, in a Super Bowl? Now, that's a scenario I could get behind, because I almost will guarantee you that if that miracle of football miracles was to happen, and these two teams so unexpectedly met in the Super Bowl, and you have the new future guy and the guy that was supposed to be the future guy going head to head, and that Giants defense just coming after Doak Jones, maybe making him fumble or throw a couple of interceptions in the Super Bowl, and we come away with the win. And that's a beautiful, lovely dream to think about tonight as I just feel so good about this win, about finally getting a prime time win against a quality team. So, hats off to the New York Football Giants for pulling a rabbit out of the hat and making it happen. Hats off to the great Cam Scatterbo. I think you should lower this fucking flipping bullshit you're doing. We don't need you getting hurt. Wait till you're in the off season to do that shit. Matter of fact, don't do it anymore until. Matter of fact, just don't do it anymore. You've done enough of them. Okay, let's just have a normal spike of the football, and we'll call it a fucking day there. Okay. I'd like to see a better usage of the tight ends, but I'm happy with some of the plays that were made. Hats off to Theo Johnson. One is get the ball into the hands of Daniel Bellinger. I think Bellinger is the shit, and I just think you need to get him out there in the flat and start throwing the football to him. So there it is. New York Giants win. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Get a really good home road win, and I'm extremely happy. Deuces, everybody. Let's go, New York Football Giants. Salute.